Let's get real. You already know your self-concept is the block. You've heard it over and over, change your identity and everything changes. But the real question is, how? How does self-concept, the quiet, internal story of who you think you are, actually shape the world around you? Let's dive in, not just with words, but with clarity. Your self-concept is like the blueprint of your life. Whether you realize it or not, this inner structure dictates how you experience everything around you. Just like an architect's blueprint directs the construction of a building, your self-concept guides the creation of your reality. If your blueprint is set to lack or unworthiness, your life will reflect that. If it's set to abundance and love, your experiences will mirror that instead. Most people don't consciously realize that their self-concept is actively shaping their world. Instead, they focus on what they want to manifest: money, love, success, without addressing the deeper, more powerful truth: it's not what you want, it's who you believe you are. Your self-concept is the lens through which you view everything. And if you view yourself as unworthy of wealth, love, or success, the universe will reflect that belief back to you, regardless of what techniques you use. Take money, for example. If you desire financial freedom, but hold an underlying belief that you are bad with money, then no matter how much you affirm or visualize abundance, your reality will likely stay the same. You'll attract situations that confirm your belief about money, whether it's unexpected expenses, poor financial decisions, or missed opportunities. Why? Because your self-concept is the hidden force that is ordering your experience, and it still says you're someone who doesn't have money. Neville Goddard taught that we must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. But let's break that down. It's not about forcing yourself to believe something you don't. It's about identifying with the version of you who already has what you desire. Instead of wishing or hoping for something, you must live from the belief that it's already yours. You don't need to chase manifestations. You need to become the person who naturally attracts them. This shift happens when your self-concept changes. If your self-concept is rooted in the belief that you are a confident, successful person, you will start to act, think, and feel like one. And when you start living from that place, your external reality has no choice but to shift in alignment. Your new self-concept becomes the foundation for the world you experience. In essence, your self-concept is the invisible blueprint guiding the construction of your reality. To change your life, you must first change the blueprint. Imagine life is like a mirror. It doesn't think or judge. It simply reflects back what it sees. And what it reflects isn't your words or even your desires. It reflects your identity. Your self-concept is the image the mirror will reflect, because that's the energy you're putting out into the world. Most people think reality reflects their goals, their desires, or the affirmations they repeat. But Neville Goddard taught us that reality only reflects who you believe you are. If your self-concept is that of a person who is always struggling, the mirror will give you more of that struggle. If you see yourself as unworthy of love, the mirror will show you more situations where you feel unloved. The key is understanding that reality is not reflecting your words. It is reflecting the identity you embody. So if you're affirming "I am abundant" while deep down believing you're someone who can't manage money, the mirror will reflect the lack and struggle. The universe can only reflect what you feel is true about yourself, not just what you say you want. This is why so many people feel like their manifestations are elusive. They're speaking one thing but being another. Neville emphasized that feeling is the secret. If you don't feel like a confident person, no amount of positive affirmations will change your reality. It's your identity, not your words, that creates your life. When you embody the version of you who already has what you desire, your external reality will begin to shift. The more you align with the state of your desire being already fulfilled, the more the mirror will reflect that new identity. You won't have to try to force things into being. They will naturally gravitate toward you. The mistake many people make is expecting the mirror to change before they do. They focus on changing their external circumstances, jobs, relationships, or bank accounts, without addressing the self-concept behind those circumstances. But Neville's teachings are clear. You don't change the mirror directly. You change the image you hold of yourself, and the mirror will reflect that change. Your self-concept is the key to everything. To change what the mirror shows, you must first change the image you hold of yourself. It's about shifting into the identity of the person who already has what they desire, not hoping the world will change first. Many people confuse self-concept with beliefs or thoughts, thinking that simply affirming "I am confident" or "I deserve love" will be enough to change their reality. While beliefs are important, they're only part of the equation. The real power of self-concept lies in the feeling tone you live from every day. Your identity is not just about what you think. It's about the state of being you occupy consistently. Think of your self-concept as the emotional and energetic state you carry through life. It's not about having a positive thought once in a while. It's about who you are in your core. You can say "I am worthy" all day long, but if you feel unworthy deep down, your outer world will reflect that. The universe doesn't respond to your affirmations alone, it responds to the feeling you radiate. Neville Goddard taught that your subconscious mind doesn't listen to your words, it listens to the feeling behind those words. If you say, "I am confident," but feel anxious or insecure when you say it, your self-concept will remain unchanged. True transformation happens when you align your internal world with the state of being you want to embody. This is why manifestation often feels inconsistent for people. They may try to visualize success, but if their core identity still sees them as someone who struggled, their reality will reflect that struggle. The subconscious mind resists any shift that doesn't feel natural or true to your sense of self. It's not just about affirmations or positive thinking. It's about living from the end, living as the person who already embodies the qualities or experiences they desire. If you want to manifest abundance, you have to become the person who thinks, feels, and acts like someone who already has wealth. It's not about pretending, it's about shifting your identity to match the reality you want. When you change your self-concept, you shift your internal vibration. This energetic shift then influences the external world. You don't need to chase after what you want, you simply need to align with the version of yourself who already has it. And once you do, the universe will reflect that back to you. Remember, self-concept is not just about belief, it's about embodying the person you wish to be. Change your inner identity, and the outer world will follow. One of the most overlooked aspects of manifestation is that you don't get what you want, you get what you accept as normal. Your normal is your baseline, the emotional and energetic setting from which you operate daily. This is what the subconscious mind has internalized as your truth. Whether you're conscious of it or not, this internalized normal is what guides the reality you create. Think about it. What feels normal to you? Struggling financially, feeling unloved, or does abundance, ease, and joy feel like a default part of your life? For many, the things they desire most, whether it's wealth, love, or success, actually feel foreign. It's unfamiliar, and if something feels unfamiliar, your subconscious will resist it, because its job is to keep you in the known and the safe, even if that safety feels limiting. This is why many people struggle to maintain their manifestations. They might manifest something temporarily, money, a new opportunity, or a relationship. But if their self-concept hasn't shifted to make these things feel normal, they will subconsciously push them away. The subconscious mind doesn't trust what feels unfamiliar, and it might even sabotage the new opportunities to keep you in your comfort zone. Neville Goddard emphasized that your concept of self is the core of what you manifest. If your concept of self includes thoughts like, "I always struggle," no matter how much you affirm or visualize success, the subconscious will work to pull you back into that old state of struggle. This is why results can feel temporary. The self-concept hasn't fully aligned with the manifestation, so it slips away. So, how do you change this normal? It starts by noticing your responses to daily life. How do you react when someone gives you a compliment? Do you accept it graciously, or do you brush it off? When something good happens, do you embrace it fully, or do you prepare for things to fall apart? These subtle reactions are indicators of your self-concept. To shift your normal, you need to embody the person who already lives the life you want. Consistently tell yourself, "This is my new normal." This isn't about pretending or forcing positivity. It's about creating a new baseline that feels natural to you. Over time, this new identity becomes your comfort zone, and the universe will align with this version of you. Your self-concept creates the reality you experience. Change what feels normal, and everything else will follow. One of the most common misconceptions about manifestation is that it's about solving problems. People believe they must fix what's wrong in their lives to make room for what they desire. They think if they can just solve the problem of money, love, or health, their manifestation will come. But manifestation isn't about solving problems, it's about selecting a state of being. Neville Goddard emphasized that instead of focusing on fixing external circumstances, you need to select the state that aligns with your desired reality. A state is a state of mind, an emotional and energetic atmosphere that you choose to inhabit. It's the way you choose to show up, regardless of external circumstances. For example, if you're seeking wealth, the goal isn't to worry about how to make more money or fix your financial situation. The goal is to step into the state of someone who already has wealth. You embody the energy, the mindset, the lifestyle of a person who is already financially free. When you occupy this state, you stop focusing on lack and problems and instead tune into the frequency of abundance. When you are in the state of abundance, your actions, thoughts, and behaviors naturally align with that state. The people, opportunity, and circumstances that match this state will show up in your reality. The key is not to obsess over solving the problem itself, but to become the person who already embodies the solution. You choose the state that reflects your desire, and live as if it's already true. Most people, however, are trapped in a cycle of problem solving. They see a problem, try to figure out a solution, and then stress over it. This keeps them locked in the same vibration of lack. By constantly focusing on the problem, they unknowingly reaffirm that they are someone who lacks or has something to fix. This approach keeps you tied to the problem, making it harder to manifest your desires. Instead, choose a state of fulfillment, abundance, and peace. When you live from this state, you are no longer trying to manifest something. You are simply living in the state that matches what you want. You stop looking outside yourself for answers and instead create from within. Remember, manifestation isn't about fixing your life. It's about choosing a new state. When you embody the state of the person who already has what they want, your external reality will naturally conform to that state. The power of assumption is one of the most transformative concepts in Neville Goddard's teaching. It's the idea that whatever you assume to be true will inevitably become true in your reality. Your assumptions shape your self-concept, and your self-concept dictates your experiences. If you want to change your life, you must start by assuming the version of yourself who already embodies what you desire. Assumptions are the beliefs you hold about yourself and the world. The problem is that many people assume lack, failure, or unworthiness as their baseline. They assume that things won't work out for them or that they are not capable of attracting what they want. These assumptions, whether conscious or subconscious, keep them trapped in the reality they don't want. To change your life, you must shift your assumptions. You can do this by consciously assuming the feelings, behaviors, and identity of the person you wish to become. Instead of assuming that you're someone who struggles with money, for instance, assume that you are wealthy, abundant, and financially secure. The more you assume this to be true, the more your external reality will reflect this assumption. Neville taught that when you assume a state, you are effectively living from the end. Instead of waiting for your desires to show up in the physical world before you feel them, you must assume they already exist in your reality. This means feeling as if you are already the person who has what you want, living from the emotional and mental state of fulfillment. Many people resist this idea because it feels like faking it. But it's not about pretending. It's about shifting your identity to match the reality you want to experience. When you truly assume that you are worthy, abundant, successful, or loved, you will begin to act, think, and feel in ways that align with that assumption. The world then has no choice but to reflect that new identity back to you. The power of assumption is rooted in the understanding that you are the creator of your reality. By assuming the state of having, being, or doing what you desire, you directly influence your experiences. You don't need to wait for the world to change first. You change your assumptions, and the world will follow. Your self-concept is essentially built upon these assumptions. When you begin to assume a new self-concept, you shift your internal world. This shift will trigger a change in your external reality, and you'll find that the manifestation of your desires is inevitable. One of the key ingredients to successful manifestation is consistency. It's easy to get excited about the process of changing your self-concept, but true transformation comes from persistently living in the new identity you've created for yourself. Your self-concept, once redefined, becomes the lens through which you view everything, and consistency ensures that you don't slip back into old patterns. Manifestation isn't an overnight process. It's about sustained focus on your new self-concept. You may start with affirmations, visualization, or embodying your desired state, but the real work is in living it day by day. Every moment you practice stepping into your new identity, you reinforce that version of yourself. Just like any habit, consistency makes the new identity feel natural, and that's when the real magic happens. Neville Goddard often spoke about the power of living from the end, assuming that your desires are already fulfilled. The key here is persistence, staying committed to your new state even when external circumstances seem contrary. The world will reflect your inner state, but if you give up too soon or slip back into old ways of thinking, it can delay or disrupt the manifestation process. It's important to realize that the universe responds to your persistence. When you remain consistent, even in the face of doubt or external challenges, the universe is receiving a clear message. This is who I am, and I am unshaken in this identity. Over time, this persistence builds momentum and causes the physical world to align with your new self-concept. This process might feel uncomfortable at first. You may face moments of doubt, or it might seem like nothing is happening. But persistence means staying true to your new self-concept no matter what. When you persist in being the person who has already received their desires, the external world has no choice but to conform. Manifestation is a journey that requires both patience and trust in the process. The more you persist in assuming your new self-concept, the more the universe has no choice but to reflect that identity. Stay consistent, and your new reality will unfold in perfect timing. Remember, your self-concept is the key to unlocking your true potential. If you want to change your reality, change the image you hold of yourself. When you live from the assumption that your desires are already fulfilled, you will experience a shift in your external world. Consistency and persistence are your allies in this process. Don't rush the journey, embrace it, and trust that your manifestations are on their way. What part of your self-concept are you working on shifting today? Share your thoughts or experiences, and let's support each other on this journey to creating the reality we desire. I will meet you with another golden nugget. Happy manifesting.